Welcome to the SwitchClicksPodcast, episode 2, recorded on August 12th, 2020. My name is Dakota, and today I'm joined by Devon, Nathan,
Hello.
Tyler, and Carson.
Hey, yo!
Carson's new to the podcast. You can introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Carson. I'm really into FNAF theory, so if you want to hit me up, you can find me on Instagram at Carson. We can talk about FNAF all day and all night. FNAF is blessed.
So today we're just going to be talking about the Nintendo quarterly sale that they announced. I think sometime last week they did release it, but we're a little late to it. But Nintendo's been breaking records for a long time now, but their latest one is probably the biggest one. The first thing is Animal Crossing New Horizons sold 22.4 million copies since its release, which now makes it the second most sold Switch game of all time, right behind Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I don't think anything's going to beat it other than Animal Crossing. It also sold more than the Metroid franchise.
Yeah, that actually gained some amount of backlash from the Metroid fans. It's not really surprising, but...
I mean, as soon as it came out, it probably sold more than F-Zero. Considering there's 4 games.
That's pretty straightforward, to be honest. There are just a lot of Nintendo franchises that go by really slowly. How big the development teams are.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised that it sells this much, considering it was perfect timing for Animal Crossing.
The game kind of just appeals to everyone.
Yeah.
Well, the Animal Crossing
simulation is a lot.
It's very casual, like you said, and then the Metroid franchise is, I'd say, one of the hardcore series Nintendo owns.
And also one of the more darker ones aesthetically.
I'm not sure how wrong I am with this, but at least Metroid Prime feels very Doom light, almost.
Oh,
so
it's little to go off of because they only had 3 games.
I mean, it's a little hard. The only for me to say, considering the only Metroid game I've played is Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion.
Yeah, I've only ever played Super Metroid. Also,
I've only ever played Other M.
I don't think I've ever played a Metroid game, honestly.
I'm honestly not surprised because there's other Nintendo franchises that kind of pop out a lot more.
Yeah, Samus is kind of an unusual.
Samus is kind of in the background.
Most people, it's like Samus is like Hit almost, where most Fire Emblem characters, in which people really only were introduced to them because of Smash Bros. I'd assume, or at least nowadays.
All up until I think Fire Emblem Fates or Awakening, sometime around the 3DS life cycle.
What?
That's when it started getting.
So do you guys think that Animal Crossing is still going to get support from Nintendo, or people are going to stay on the game?
Most definitely for a while. I guess
until Animal Crossing, it might die down a bit.
It already has when you think about it.
I would say, as you said, it was a casual game, right? And casual games, especially since we're in a pandemic, everybody's just kind of been sitting doing nothing. So with Animal Crossing releasing like that, people have done pretty much everything in the game, and now we're just waiting for weekly things, right? So it will probably lose interest until they pull out some big crazy event that nobody saw coming.
I mean, they kind of did that with Splatoon, and I think that's what killed the game.
Yeah, it's really only striving on that weekly content right now.
Well, Animal Crossing isn't really getting weekly content. I'd say it's monthly so far. I prefer if it was weekly content, but I understand that they might not be able to.
Certainly a lot more than Splatoon. I'll say that for one thing.
At least Splatoon got 100%, yeah, we're going to have new content every week or every month.
That's true.
I think Animal Crossing is one of those games where even when it dies down a lot, the people that will stick with Animal Crossing are going to stick with it for a very long time.
Dakota?
Well, I played the game. I have 200 hours into it. I haven't touched the game in 2 weeks. I got bored.
Fair enough.
The only time I logged in was to look at the new fireworks and collect those items. I already got all the items in one night.
Guess that goes with a lot of games anyways, with the special event stuff.
Yeah, maybe when like Halloween comes around, that will be a good time to hop on back onto Animal Crossing.
Most especially the holidays seasons.
Yeah.
I hope they do something interesting. It's not just, hey, there's an NPC in your town hall square. Go talk to him for a special item. That's it.
Maybe he'll do a funny dance.
But what if you like all your villagers are in their houses and you go and knock on their doors and it plays an animation and they give you candy or whatever?
Or at least if
cool.
like maybe all the villagers are wearing costumes or something. That sounds like a good
yeah,
time.
exactly.
That'd be pretty nice.
They usually always do.
I don't think Halloween has a mascot, so what would you do? It's like the pumpkin guy.
Yeah, the pumpkin guy
here.
is the only mascot for that.
Unless they bring in like other Nintendo franchise like kind of things.
Dude,
like
bring back the fortune cookies from New Leaf. Dude.
Maybe it will.
That'd be dope.
It gets requested enough. I think
it's also the most sold game ever in Japan. So
honestly, I'm not surprised because quarantine. Quarantine kind of
like the
provided everything.
Like ever in the history of Japan, that's the most sold game ever.
So it's not only the Switch.
Not only the Switch.
Everything.
Wow.
Jeez.
Well, I think that's really just because of the it's a super casual game that anyone can play, right? Like
it's life simulation as well, so you're basically living life without having to like stay at home from quarantines.
Nintendo really made the Switch so for the Japanese market because they really like having a portable device with them.
Yeah, definitely.
So they probably just eat that stuff up on the Switch.
Do you know what the most sold game of all time in the US, or just not the US, but like North America?
North America.
Minecraft.
Probably Minecraft, but I'll Google it quickly. Minecraft.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised about Minecraft. The
that's
target market here. Okay, well, how about? I guess Minecraft still sells.
Yeah.
USA.
In terms
it makes
of
sense for
downloads,
Minecraft to be best selling, right? Because it's similar to Animal Crossing, as in anyone can play it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Minecraft is kind of like the sandbox game, so you can really do anything in it, and
I
don't think
quest involved.
I don't think I'll ever expect like hardcore fighting game to ever make it up the ranks or something. Like
fighting games just don't appeal to everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
Meanwhile, GTA 5 is just sitting up there with the second place.
I'm not surprised.
Well, I mean, when you don't make a new game in like how many years, your numbers will probably rank up.
Has it really been 12 years?
I don't know. I just know it's been more than a decade.
I thought it was 7.
Oh, it's 7. I just know it's been
Rockstar Games is like, we're working on GTA 6, but
Are you though?
We're gonna keep
milking. They're just milking.
We're gonna keep milking GTA 5 until everybody leaves.
They probably.
Hey guys, get ready for GTA 5 on the PS5. You see?
PS6.
Perfect.
Well, I could just sit here play GTA 5 on my PS3 and still get a really similar experience.
Wait till it comes out on the Switch.
PogChamp.
As if, because I don't know, some developers
do that.
And then the Switch sold 61.44 million consoles, and that's up from 55 million the last quarter. So it sold about 7 million more.
Okay, does that make it the second highest selling Switch console of all time?
It's approaching the lifetime sales of the NES, which I'm pretty sure is the second highest selling console that Nintendo owns, other than the Wii.
Okay.
So
makes sense with the quarantine and everyone staying at home.
Yeah.
But do you guys think it'll be successful enough to get up to the Wii? Like,
I don't think it will beat the Wii. The Wii.
Well, it depends how long it's out for.
I would
guess,
say the
yeah.
Wii is kind of timeless, though, still.
Like, even after the Wii, the thing is, the Wii U came out and people still went to buy Wiis because the Wii U sucked. Unless the next console also sucks, I don't think the Switch will beat them. Will beat the Wii.
Yeah, the Wii's kind of the timeless, like, you have a family, right?
Yeah.
That's true. I think
Everything
the
came
Switch
out
is
for the
slowly
Wii.
becoming that though. Like it's a modern
Yeah.
Nintendo, and everybody kind of knows of it.
Well,
Yeah, but it's not the
Yeah.
same as the Wii. Like when the Wii was released, everyone was going on about the motion controls, and they all thought like, "Oh, it's a fun family game. We can all play as a family." The Switch isn't really as much of that. Like they had 3-2-1 Switch at the very beginning, but then like there's no Wii Sports really equivalent on the
There's no
Switch.
game that kind of
well,
matches
like,
up to
they
the
did
Wii.
make a
Mario Kart.
Wii Sports Resort in the new Mario Kart.
Is that on the Switch?
Oh,
A Mario Kart,
Similar.
and then they have that Ring Fit Adventure, but that's not really for a family. It
Yeah.
can
more
be
for
though.
like
I think they need a
Single
Wii
person.
Sports game. They like the Switch
They
desperately
do.
needs a Wii
They
Sports kind
They
of game.
do have one. It's called Wii Sports or Vacation, not Resort.
Go Vacation.
Yeah,
It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
on the
that-
Switch, I don't think. Is it?
Go
It's not a
Vacation.
Nintendo game.
Yeah, but Go Vacation
Oh.
is like what
It's the closest.
they
Yeah.
got for now.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think the closest we'll get to Wii Sports is like the all-in-one board game. I can't remember what the game's called. Something like that.
Well,
that
50
new one?
Clubhouse games. Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
the closest we'll get to like a Wii game type of thing.
Wii Sports. Yeah.
Oh yeah, what's the
No,
numbers
it's
on
just-
Clubhouse?
It has bowling though, and all the stuff you would remember from Wii series.
Yeah, but you can only play bowling with 2 people.
It's
Yeah.
more like actually, fun fact: Clubhouse did come out on the DS before, so it's technically
did?
not. It's technically
Yeah,
not
it
a
was on
sequel
the
to.
DS.
It's technically not a sequel to Wii Sports.
Wait, it was?
Yeah, it was.
I was on the DS.
My brother owns it.
I didn't even know that.
Well, yeah,
Is
like
it
if you
still-
see
still
how
on
well
51?
Clubhouse Games does, like it just kind of shows
Yeah.
that a Wii Sports would probably do quite well if you properly market it.
Provided Nintendo takes that route of giving there's a Mii-based game where they can use Mii's.
I think
Yeah.
they're gonna
As a
ditch the
characters.
Mii's soon.
Yeah, I
They
think
could
the
def-
Mii's
they
really
haven't really
only
done anything.
exist.
They could
The
definitely
Mii's,
release
I think, only exist because of the Wii, and they're just like, well, we want to keep
Yeah.
them, but we're not
They're
going to
kind of
build.
really
We're not going to
underused
have
on the Switch.
Miitopia or Tomodachi Life
Tomo or
levels of
yeah.
games.
About releasing another Wii Sports on the Switch. They could do it, but the thing is, the Switch has it's got the normal Switch and then it's got the Switch Lite, right?
There
Yeah.
are many games that restrict players to Joy-Con, so it wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprising if they do happen to release it.
Yeah,
Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of late now. Like Wii Sports came with every single Wii almost, or most of the
That was
Wii.
a bundle game, so that's why
Yeah.
it really sold
Mhm.
well.
But what
Yeah,
if they
that's-
make it and then Nintendo Switch Online people get it for free?
That would be a really good way to
Well, like,
sell
but-
Nintendo Switch Online, but
I don't think the Wii
Really-
Sports series was only because it was packaged with the Wii. Like,
Yeah.
Wii Sports Resort, was it packaged with anything? I
It
might
was
be
packaged
wrong.
with
later Wii's.
Wii Motion Plus.
Yeah,
The Wii Motion
Later.
Plus
Oh.
or later Wii's. The
Yeah, but
family
I still think
edition.
people went out to buy Wii Sports Resort. They didn't just get it because it came
Sales,
with.
the Wii Sports Resort sales are very far from Wii Sports.
Well, yeah, but it's still one of the games that people relate with the Wii.
That's
So
Actually, Wii Sports Resort is about half of the sales of Wii Sports. Wii
It's
Sports is
not-
Pretty okay.
82.9 and Resort is 33.3 million, which is pretty
Yeah.
good.
yeah, it's
yeah,
not bad.
like
Till you see Wii Sports Club.
Wasn't that free for a long time too?
Oh, it was a trial game. Like they kind of just gave out increments of the game for fully releasing it, and
the
it
problem with
ultimately
that
just
is they didn't
failed.
market it.
They barely marketed it. It's like, oh, try out this game, and then later buy it. But there's no
Nintendo
point
does have a
'cause-
problem with just releasing a game without any advertising and then being like, well, no one bought it, so no one likes it. Let's shelve this project.
That's kind of what happened some of the more recent games.
I think that also happened with like Chibi Robo and stuff. That game just kind of went down the drain almost because they didn't market it and then was like, well, if you're not going to get it, we won't sell it. We won't make good games for anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of Nintendo advertisements, how are you what do you think of the current state of Nintendo right now with the lack of Nintendo Directs and such?
I really don't. I think they're still doing fine. I think Nintendo has done anything specifically wrong. Like, there's things that I like if they put like GameCube games or 64 games onto the the bundles for getting Nintendo Switch Online. That'd be pretty cool. I'd be really excited if that happened. But other than I don't think other than that, I don't think they're really missing out on too much. Then again, I'm not super into what Nintendo has been doing recently.
I think it would be a bad move if Nintendo started releasing like N64 games because it's really kind of baiting off that nostalgia. Honestly,
well, yeah,
I see a lot of people
SNES
nowadays.
And NES,
I guess, but like,
which is still
nowadays people are kind of getting frustrated because it seems like all these big companies are just re-releasing these old games and trying to get people to buy them, just playing off nostalgia. So,
well, the thing is,
it could have like a negative effect on Nintendo.
It like the 64 like you don't buy it. It comes with Nintendo Switch Online, and people have complained that Nintendo Switch Online 1 is not good, and 2 you don't really you don't really get anything out of it. Like if cool games sucked, people I don't think would be as angry as right now where the online sucks and you're not gonna good bonus with it.
Well, also, I'm just thinking on that nostalgia thing, right? Yes, people are getting mad that people are, or like all the big companies are playing on nostalgia, but also if you think about it, when you play new games, you usually start to compare it to the old ones, which also, that's the nostalgia piece. You're used to the old games and then you criticize the new ones.
Especially Paper Mario series.
Mm-hmm. You definitely see that in a lot more of the games with sequels or
like a long-running series. It's like Fire Emblem also gets criticism in the newer games.
Yeah, like if there's one really good game, like let's take like Smash Melee. All the Melee fans love that game, and they're always criticizing. Like when Brawl came out, they all hated it, and then when the Wii version came out, some people stayed, some people kind of hated it. But there's always going to be hate. Because there's things not included in the game.
Yeah.
With Ultimate's online code.
Yeah, the online's really... Is the online as bad as I've heard? Like, I've heard it's really laggy.
They tried to fix Ultimate recently, but they didn't go with what the fans wanted, which is rollback netcode. And I think that's still... it was a really bad idea that didn't implement it. On that topic of N64 games appearing, I think there will be a lot of backlash, most especially for Mario and Zelda fans, because there's probably a good chance that Super Mario 64 or maybe Ocarina of Time would appear in that Nintendo Switch Online list. But I think if that were to happen, there would be a lot of backlash because of the request for a remaster. I know Ocarina of Time HD has been a huge request. Like, nobody has ever looked at any other Zelda game, aside from maybe Majora's Mask, but other than that, there would be a lot of backlash if they were to release it on Nintendo Switch Online.
I guess. But then again, if most of them already have online, then it's not really a big deal. Like, do you lose the games once you cancel your subscription?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Think of it like Netflix or Disney.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see how that's kind of a pain. They could just release like an online version of it.
It kind of deconfirms a remaster if the game's placed on Nintendo Switch
true.
Online.
But they could also do both, like release a copy you can buy and just release the same game with the online, so you don't have to buy it.
Probably won't do that, unfortunately.
True.
It's just so weird to me. Like, when the Wii came out, Nintendo was like really good at getting like all different kinds of games for their old games, and now they're just like, I heard you like NES. We're just gonna do that.
We're gonna ignore Virtual Console because you know that you liked it.
The Virtual Console was really good on the Wii. I didn't really play it much because I didn't really have the money back then, but I don't think the Switch really needs it since it's doing so well. They might just be thinking about going to the future and less of the past, but maybe they'll throw in the past a little bit.
I think the reason they're changing that like system is because I'm not sure how well Virtual Console sales went, but I have a feeling that best players bought Virtual Console because it's less advertised than Nintendo Switch Online.
So there is some proof to the pudding when people think, oh, they're going to put Wii U games on the Switch. Because on the Wii U, New Super Mario Bros. U sold 5.8 million, but on the Switch, it's in now the top 10. It's sold 7.44 million. So it's sold a solid 2 million more on the Switch.
It goes with a lot of other games like Mario Kart 8. Even though it was already best selling on the Wii U.
Well, yeah, Mario Kart's gonna win anyway.
It's definitely gonna be a win. There's no game that can really top it off.
Yeah, I don't think any game's gonna beat Mario Kart 8 unless they release Mario Kart 9.
So I think somebody did an estimate where Animal Crossing New Horizons, since the end of June, which is when they stopped the quarter, Animal Crossing has sold 300,000 in Japan. So
oh my god!
300,000 more in Japan only. So that's a massive difference in Japan.
Compared to any other title.
So I think Animal Crossing eventually will beat Mario Kart.
Yeah, because Mario Kart's quite old. I don't think anyone's going to be buying it that much.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd say anybody who buys a Switch will most likely buy Mario Kart.
That's probably the one game they'll get first.
That's kind of.
I mean, I don't have it, but
I don't have
that's
it
just
either,
because
but
I have Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U.
Well, the thing with Mario Kart is when you're first buying a Switch, like you're looking for say you play into the advertising and you want to play it with friends like locally, right? Mario Kart, I think you can do that, right? You can play 2-player on one Switch.
Mario Kart is that type of game that you can play solo or play with people.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, as opposed to Animal Crossing, where it's just you can only play by yourself unless you're playing with a friend that has another Switch.
One island per console too. That whole game thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing that was the main thing that made me not buy Animal Crossing, mostly because how my family's set up. We very much are like, if the game has the capability to have multiple files, we'll like that really helps in wanting to pick up the game. But then we found out Animal Crossing can only have one island, and having three children is not helping with. Yeah.
There are some people, like super fans, who are buying multiple Switch Lites so they can have multiple islands. I think that's a waste of money, but
definitely a waste of money.
That just sounds like a thing you'd do if you're a YouTuber to get the extra content churning out.
Yeah, that's probably the only reason they ever do it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know.
It was the same thing with Pokemon, like back on the 3DS. I remember you could only have one save file at a time. I guess all the Pokemon games.
Well, yeah.
Every Pokemon game up till Sword and Shield, basically.
Did Sword and
Shield? Yeah.
Well, let's go if you count that. Yeah.
Oh, it had multiple.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
Well,
it's
not
Switch
like
accounts.
really multiple. You can make multiple accounts on your Switch just use that. But
does that technically work with Animal Crossing?
Oh,
no, it doesn't.
No.
No. Oh, really? Oh,
So when there's a second player that logs into Animal Crossing and they're brand new, they'll get a plot of land on the island that the first person already made.
and you can't just buy another. Let's say you buy another cartridge. Does it not give you a new island or?
No,
It goes off of your
No.
Switch,
No.
not your.
because the save file is on the
Yeah.
Switch and not the cartridge.
Yeah, it's a pain.
Yeah.
At least they're getting better with it, where they just did the new backing up your island. So at least that's happening. But I don't think anybody here even cares because they don't even play Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I skipped out on it.
And then another big news from the quarterly sales is Sword and Shield, Pokemon Sword and Shield sold 18.22 million, which surpassed Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and Black and White. And Sword and Shield is now the third most sold Pokemon game of all time. I think it might be second. I could have that wrong here.
It is third, but it's like it's like a technical third place because number 1 and number 2 are Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, which are kind of the same game.
Well, they
so
group up.
You can
Red
argue,
and Blue, and then they group up. I think they group up generations.
I don't.
So Red and Blue will be.
I thought I heard. I could have sworn I heard somewhere like when they were talking about this. Number 1 and number 2 are Red and Blue, but I might be wrong.
Guess they did group them properly, maybe.
Because if that's the case, then I'd assume number 2 would probably be Generation 2, Gold, Silver, and Crystal.
Yeah, I think I have the stats here. Yeah, so the first, number 1 is Pokemon Red, Green, and Blue. And then number 2 is Gold and Silver.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
Sword
I don't
and Shield
think
is
Sword and Shield will
place.
never beat those. Like they might be Pokemon Sword, they might be Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, but Red and Blue, like the absolute mania that ensued when Pokemon Red and Blue came out, people absolutely like that. Everything was Pokemon. Imagine when Pokemon Go came out, but that lasted like triple the length. Like I don't think anything will beat out Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. Which is funny because Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow are in fact the worst Pokemon games.
Not hot take.
No. This is no. Like Fire Red and Leaf Green, they're completely fine. Red, Blue, and Yellow are the worst because they're made they are physically made the lowest quality of all the games.
Yeah,
there's glitches absolutely everywhere. You can like Fire Red and Leaf Green. Those you can argue those are the best games, but Red, Blue, and Yellow are not made very well. That's their problem.
I guess for the time it was made well, but now 30 years later it's not made well.
Well, I mean, considering when they came out in Japan, they had to edit it for the North American release because it was so glitchy. So I don't think it was well made for the time either.
I mean, they were limited to the Game Boy, so.
And it wasn't an experienced company making it either. Like Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal completely fixed up most of the problems with the game and is a pretty well-made one.
Dakota, what's the top ranking for the Pokemon games? You said Sword and Shield comes in third in terms of games
Sword and Shield is third, and then Red and Blue is number 1 with 31.8 million. Gold and Silver is second with 23.10.
Who's fourth and fifth?
Diamond and Pearl and Black and White.
Okay, so it's good to see that those old games are still up in terms of sales because I thought it was trending upwards towards the style of the new games, kind of like how it's just so much more dialogue than the older games. But it's good to see that the older games people still like them or they're still holding up in terms of sales.
I mean, I don't think this is a hot take, but Gen 4 and Gen 5 are probably the best Pokemon games, quality made. Or at least that might be my opinion.
But what do you guys think? All the backlash before the game even came out, and there's people said they were going to boycott it, but now the sales have gone to third place. So, do you think that'll change what they think in the future?
Well, what was all the drama about?
The drama, there's a few things. It's still going on, which is, I feel, very annoying. they're upset that the national dex got cut, which honestly I don't personally think was that bad. Like, sure, it sucks that not all the Pokemon are there, but I kind of like it. It's almost like restricting your usage, but that's just my opinion. Then the other things coming out, they're upset over the DLC. They're like, well, you released new Pokemon and there's Pokemon following behind you, but now it's all behind a paywall, which they're upset about, which is technically, but I'm just confused because the DLC is just a cheaper way to make a third game.
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
Is there that much content with it?
Like, because you're paying $30 for 2 sets of DLC, kind of.
Brand
basically
new
covers the whole tertiary game thing.
Yeah, but isn't it only like 2 extra gyms?
Not even gyms.
Barely even gems.
It's more, they add a ton, like they put in a ton of Pokemon trying to appease the National Dex thing. They added in new legendaries. They added in like brand new, never before seen Pokemon, the Regielektric and Regidragon or whatever that is. They add in 2. You could call them mini regions. The Isles of Armor, and then they're gonna have like, what's the Tundra one, which will have its
Crown Tundra.
Yeah, it'll have its own, or they advertise it'll have its own like new legendary or mythic Pokemon. Right?
The DLC, I feel, are almost played out like Pokemon side quests. Like, you have the main story, and then you pay $30 to get 2 sets of side quests, which I think is a pretty good deal.
I think that's fair, because, like, in terms of me playing the game personally, once I beat the main story and did the classic catching of the legendary, since I'm not a hardcore Pokemon player, I don't really care about playing it too much anymore.
Fair enough.
Well, I can understand how people are kind of frustrated that new Pokemon are hidden behind a paywall. Because, like, in the older games, right? Like, traditionally, you beat the game, and you have a post-game story and with all these extra legendaries and stuff, right?
But then games were re-released.
I mean, that's the thing, though.
I guess.
It's technically not behind a paywall, because you get a free update in which your game is now compatible with all the new Pokemon. So if you want to, if you use like the GTS, which is a free system, or you could trade with people who have the DLC. So technically, the Pokemon, you cannot catch them in your game without a paywall, but you can still acquire them by other means.
Yeah, but the catching is like, people don't want to have to give up on legendary for a legendary, because that's how most trades are, really. Like, people want to be able to catch these Pokemon, and they want to have that post game that every other Pokemon game had included, right? So I can understand where people are kind of frustrated with that.
Yeah, but at the same time, a game like Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Crystal, like the third games, which are the still full-priced games, which are then almost the exact same game in the end, and
have to buy it again for full price.
And then maybe would also have like maybe a few more legendaries. People didn't really get upset by that. I think people were initially upset by the national dex, and now it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And now anything that comes out, basically they found out after the national dex came out, they're like, you know what, this is it. We are going to try to fix everything. Like, if you go to if you go on Pokemon's Twitter and you look in the comments, the number 1 and number 2 comment almost exclusively are, yeah, you're doing okay, but you could do better. Here, bring back National Dex, bring back Mega Evolution, bring back... And it's like the release the Snyder Cut when that was a big thing. It's just at this point it's come down to almost just obnoxious.
Except the difference with the Snyder Cut is that I don't think DC was ever intending to do it. Game Freak seems like they're intentionally holding back on the National Dex, because people go back to the game. They want people to go back to the game every now and then.
Felt a lot when it came out. I feel Sword and Shield did kind of feel like we're going to try. Like, it doesn't feel like they were trying as hard with Sword and Shield when they eventually came out. But I feel at this point they've kind of gotten the memo and they're like, okay, we can't just cheap out because fans are going to get upset. So I feel the next game is going to be higher quality.
What if that was not their intent? That was not their intent. Think about like how many times people have gone back to Sword and Shield because new Pokemon have come out. The thing is, it seems like Game Freak is intentionally holding back on the national decks because they want people to go back to the game and complete like the Pokedex every now and then, rather than completing it one playthrough and then just never touch the game again. I think that's the intent behind closing down the national decks, because otherwise the game would just end up like most other Pokemon games. Play it until they finish it and just never touch it again.
I guess. I just don't. It's just annoying almost to me personally. I can see why people are angry, but I feel they're going a little too overboard, and it's just annoying. And I personally don't love Sword and Shield that much. It's not my least favorite Pokemon game, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's enough to it. It's really weird though, because Sun and Moon came out right before it, and I feel those were like legitimately good Pokemon games. And then like when you bring it over to the Switch, you're expecting something on the level of at least Sun and Moon, but then they bring something that feels a little more like a test. Like when they first did 3D, Pokemon X and Y was mostly built around, look, everything's 3D. And then by doing that, it almost felt like a lot of the game it almost felt incomplete. Like they could have gone further. But then the next game was Sun and Moon, which I feel are legitimately good. So I think now that they're porting it to the Switch, this game's not going to be great. But when the next game comes out, I'm hoping it will be better. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just optimistic.
When I was playing through the game, it seemed to lack a lot of content. Like I beat the game in like 12 hours, not even like 8 hours maybe. I just played through the whole game, and I looked at my Pokedex, and it was pretty much like 75% complete. And I'm like, hold up, that's like 8 hours, that's like 12 hours of content right there. So yeah. I feel like a lot of people, when they look at the game, they create like Pokemon or whoever was a Game Freak, whoever developed it, they created the full game, including the DLC, and then they took the DLC away. And they just left you with this kind of incomplete game. Sold you it for the full price, and now they want another $80 for this other half, which is kind of.
I think the most annoying part is because it's a Switch game, it actually costs more than a 3DS game.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's very annoying,
Sword and Shield. I mean, we might as well get opinions out. What is your guys' favorite Pokemon game?
X and Y. That's my favorite.
X and Y.
Oh, okay. Same. Yeah, X and Y gang.
X and Y was great.
Beautiful. I'm a little torn between Soul Silver and Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah, I'm a big basic boy. I very much like Soul Silver, even though that's by far the most popular game.
Well, yeah, for me, it's Soul Silver because like that's the very first Pokemon game I ever played. It's the first game where I got like a level 100, yada yada yada, like did things in the game, right? But then I also like Alpha Sapphire because that was the first game where I actually like completed the Pokedex. So it's all for like personal. I did what you're supposed to do, but that's why I'm torn between those two.
I think favorite Pokemon game does come down to your first. Most of the time, because Soul Silver was my first too, and I think X and Y was Dakota's first, if I remember correctly.
No, Black 2 was my first.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
My favorite would be either like Gen 3 or Gen 4 games. Any of them, honestly, because Gen 4 was my first actual game, although I did play a bit of Gen 3 before that. It was Fire Red.
I played a lot of Ruby and Sapphire growing up and in school, and I really liked the Omega Ruby and Sapphire because it was kind of it combined both of them. It combined the world of Ruby and Sapphire, but then it also combined the X and Y elements of the 3D-ness and kind of bringing back all these legendaries and stuff. And I don't know, I just found it really nice with the Mega Evolution.
I really liked Alpha Sapphire. It was really good. I think the only problem is they didn't have the Battle Frontier, which is what people were really excited for.
Yeah, that's true.
So back on the topic of Pokemon, we're now going to play a quick game. All right, today we're going to play Pokemon 20 Questions. It's a variant of a GameScoop's video game 20 Questions, but this time it's with Pokemon. We might do this in the future. You can recommend a Pokemon by emailing us or adding us on Twitter. All right, I have a Pokemon in mind. Go ahead.
Okay, is it a pseudo-legendary?
No.
Okay.
Is it a water type?
No.
Is it from Kanto?
Don't think so.
I can't. No. Okay.
No.
Oh boy.
That's 3 questions.
Yeah, that's 3.
Is it from the Galar region?
No.
Is it from the Unova region?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Does it have a dual typing?
No. Single type.
Is it a legendary? Is it a legendary?
No, it's not a legendary.
Okay.
I might go back on the pseudo-legendary part. I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh.
So it's not from Unova.
Wait,
it's not
that
from
narrows
Kanto.
it down a lot.
Yeah.
That narrows it down a lot. Single type pseudo legendaries.
Okay, so we got Dragonite, we got Salamence, we got Metagross, we got Tyranitar.
Those
What
are
else
all
we got?
dual types, though.
True.
Gen 4 is Garchomp. Gen 5 is
Is it Goodra?
Hydreigon.
What do you guys think of Goodra?
Goodra is a single type pseudo legendary.
True.
Ooh.
So it's probably one of those 3. Is it Goomy?
So just so you know, if you guess a Pokemon, you lose.
Okay, never mind.
Is it from the which region?
Kalos.
Kalos.
Kalos, yes.
Which one is that? That's the first.
That's the
That's
X.
X
That's the X and Y region.
No.
Oh,
geez.
okay. Is it Dragon type?
No.
No.
Oh.
Okay, then it's not a pseudo legendary, I don't think. Yeah, all the other pseudo legendaries are dual type, so it's not a pseudo legendary.
Is it a starter?
No.
I hope
That's
someone's
8.
keeping track of the questions.
I have not.
Okay.
You got 8.
Oh, okay.
You got 12 left and a guess.
So it's not pseudo.
Is it from Unova? Or did I already ask that?
Oh no,
Already
that was
asked
already
that.
Already
asked.
asked that.
Okay, is it from Hoenn?
Let me home region. I don't think so.
That's Ruby and Sapphire, if that helps. Okay, then is it from Johto? Pokemon Gold and Silver?
Oh, come on, give me an answer on this stupid thing. I don't even know. What?
Dakota, what is the number, huh? Tell us the number.
No, you can just Google it then.
So it's a single typing. It's not pseudo. It's not a legendary.
Not a starter.
Okay. What was your last question?
Is it from the Hoenn region?
Okay. No, it's not.
Was it from the Johto either?
No. I'll give you a free one there.
Is it from Sinnoh?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Single type
Okay.
Sinnoh Pokemon.
Single types. Ooh, do you think it's Axew or
You got
the
10
Haxorus?
left and a guess.
Axew's not Sinnoh.
Oh, no, he
That's-
said it's not Sinnoh, isn't it?
It is.
No, he
Sinnoh.
said it is Sinnoh.
It is Sinnoh.
Oh, it is
Axew
Sinnoh.
from
Okay, never
Unova.
A single type Sinnoh Pokemon. That
Ooh,
narrows
boy.
it down a bit.
Is it an electric type?
No.
Okay.
The psychic type?
No.
Okay, let's take it easy on the questions.
Yeah.
Well, let me just.
You can always
Pokemon
come
Go.
first, just to figure out what questions you should be asking.
Okay.
Okay.
You said it's not a legendary, right?
Not a legendary, not a pseudo, not a starter, and it's from Sinnoh.
Okay, I'm gonna ask
Single
one more
type.
type question. Is it normal type?
No.
No? Okay.
Wow.
Well, that narrows it down, I think, a lot. Okay, wait, quick question. Am I allowed to, I think it'd be cheating if I look up a list of Pokemon, right?
I'm looking at
Sounds like
Pokemon Go right now.
That sounds like cheating.
I could literally just get
Go from
pull up the
memory, guys.
Pokedex.
Go from memory.
Yeah, you can't really
Okay.
go into a website and then filter it by the
Yeah.
specifications I gave you.
Is the Pokemon blue?
Yes.
Oh.
Is it fighting type?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay,
Is
I
it-
think I got it.
Okay, first.
Is it Riolu?
Isn't it-
Oh, okay.
Yes,
wait.
it's Riolu.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
I was gonna ask if it was a second or first evolution.
So we kind of
We've done a lot of talking today, guys.
Fair
Well, thank you
enough.
guys for being on the show. And now I'll cut to the outro. Thank you for tuning in to the Switch Clicks podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter to keep up to date. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher while you're at it. If you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or you can email us questions at theswitchclickspodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to tune in next time for the next episode of the Switch Clicks podcast.